In this video, we're going to divide fractions with unlike denominators. The directions read, divide the fractions by multiplying the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second fraction. Simplify your results if necessary, and write any answers greater than 1 as both an improper fraction and a mixed number. Okay. So the page in your media lesson packet explains why we're going to perform this process, but I'm just going to show you once with this first example. Now say we want to divide these. If we just use the general process of dividing the numerators and dividing the denominators, which is a valid process, we'd have 12 divided by 3 is 4, and 13 divided by 5, well, that's 13/5. Okay. Now, we want our answer to be a fraction or an integer, not a fraction within a fraction. So this hasn't made the process any easier. Okay. So we could rewrite these with common denominators. So I'm going to spare you some of the pain and just do this myself in my head. So 12/13ths, their common denominator, they have no common factors besides 1, so it would be 13 times 5, which is 65. Okay. So if I wrote 12/13ths over 65, that would be 60 over 65 divided by, well, here we'd have 65, and I'd multiply 3 by 13 to get 39. Okay. Now notice this gives us 60 divided by 39 over 65 divided by 65. 65 divided by 65 is 1. And you may say, hey, we still have division here. But remember, now that it's over 1, we could think of this as the fraction 60 over 39. Okay? Well, let's see where these numbers came from. Well, 60 is 12 times 5, and 39 is 13 times 3. And here's our 12 and 5, and 13 and 3. So equivalently, we can use this process of multiplying the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So this justified the use of the procedure we're just going to use, but in general you're not going to go through all this work because it could be a bit tedious. Repeat the first fraction, just write it down, change division to multiplication, and reciprocate the second fraction. Okay. Now we're going to multiply across, and notice that's going to be the same factors we would get after this whole long process, which was very long, which we don't want to do. So here we have 60 over 39, okay? And notice doing this was a lot easier than doing all of this. Now let's simplify our fraction. They each have a common factor of 3. So this is 3 times 20. This is 3 times 13. So we get 20 over 13. And as a mixed number, 20 over 13 is 1 7/20. Okay. So now for the remaining problems, we're just going to use this process of multiplying the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second. Okay. Let's make a little border here. So on the next one, I'm just going to rewrite this. Okay. So always keep the first fraction the same, always change to multiplication, and always just reciprocate or flip the second fraction. Okay. So this is an equivalent problem. Okay. I'm going to cancel out some common factors here. So 3 and 18 have a common factor of 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 18 divided by 3 is 6. 5 and 10 have a common factor of 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So now I'm going to write this multiplication, but with my reduced factors. 6 times 2 over 1 times 1 is 12. Okay. Now you could have multiplied and got 180 over 15 and then simplified, but if you cancel the factors first, it's easier to find those common factors. Let's look at the next one. 2/3, I'm going to change to multiplication, reciprocate the second fraction. Here we have a common factor of 2, so I'm just going to cancel that out first. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Now we can multiply across. 1 times 5 over 3 times 6 is 5/18. Okay. This is a proper fraction, so I don't have to write it as a mixed number. And notice 5 and 18 don't have any common factors, so it's completely simplified.